finally come. It is time for the Mini's first track day. I will admit I am a little bit nervous because obviously this car's been on track before, so I don't know how it's going to respond. It has 145,000 miles on it, so it's not that old, but it's also not that new. And of course, the only car I've ever had on track is my 350Z, so this will be a very different experience. You know, it's a front-wheel drive car. It's got a manual transmission. It's not the same as my 350Z where I'm sitting low and strapped into a race seat. It'll feel very different, so I'm going to go really slow on that first session. I've got 3 sessions to Track Night in America, so 3 20-minute sessions is like $160. We are at Atlanta Motorsports Park, and I have not been here for 5 years. I came here for my very first track day back in 2015. It is now 2020, and different car. Only been here once. It was a very long time ago. It was my very first track day, so obviously I was learning everything for those first 3 sessions. My line's not going to be great. This car is going to handle completely different, so I have to learn how to get it to do what I want. So I'm just going to go nice and easy, work my way up, build some speed. I've got 3 sessions to kind of work my way through, figure the car out, and hopefully by the end of the 3rd session I'm at least putting together good consistent laps. I'm not going to use a lap timer. I'm not going to try and do any specific time. I thought about it, but I just don't want to push myself. I don't want to push the car. I have to drive it like 3.5 hours back home, and I don't know. I think these brakes will be fine, but we're going to find out. So I'm going to update you guys as we go through and let you know how the car's doing. I've got a GoPro up here on the sunroof, and then I'll have one on the side of my helmet. We'll do footage from the last session. I don't really want to pressure a video for the first 2 sessions while I'm relearning the track. But again, I'm very excited, and hopefully this goes as well as I think it will. Well guys, we have done the first 2 sessions, and the car has actually done really well. It was a little slippy sliding in the first session, but the tire pressures were way too high, so I aired them back down once I got hot, kind of dialed that in. Second session was much better. My line was much better. I was a lot more comfortable in the car. I trust it a lot more. It has not gotten hot. I haven't had any sort of issues with the brakes being a problem or the suspension. It handles extremely well for what it is. I mean, they're not, you know, fancy coilovers or anything like that. It's just a nice set of Bilsteins, and they are doing a great job of keeping the car composed. The tires are almost brand new, so I'm kind of breaking them in, so they're getting better session by session. Also, again, I'm working with the tire pressures, so it's getting a lot better, and I'm not having any issue with the manual. I am not heel towing right now because A, it's a front wheel drive, so it's not as big of a deal, but B, mostly because I don't feel comfortable doing it on track at speed yet. I'll keep practicing that, and we'll incorporate that as I get better. But right now, as slow as I'm going, and I'm not in any sort of hurry trying to win a race or anything, I have plenty of time to downshift, move my feet, you know, get in position and come out of a corner. I can definitely tell that this car has an open differential because it really struggles to put power down on one of the tighter turns. Not so much turn 1, but the second tight turn, which I will put down here what that number is, it really struggles to put power down, which is actually really frustrating. But other than that, the car is doing great. It's handling really well. The biggest thing holding it back right now is me. So keep getting better. We're going to go out in a third session in about half an hour. So you guys will see the track footage of that. But yeah, I'm really happy with it. The only issue is I don't have my gauges in yet, so I don't know what my oil pressure is, and I don't know what my oil temperature is. All I have is the idiot light on the oil, so I'm a little concerned just because I don't like not knowing what's going on. So that's something we will definitely do before we take this back out on track. I've got them, I just haven't had time to put them in yet, so that is definitely a priority now, because it just makes me a little bit nervous of I might be having an issue and not know about it, and I'll find about it halfway down the road as I'm on my way home in the middle of the night. But other than that, I'm having a great time. It's a great car. I kind of already knew that. I mean, everyone told me that, and it handled really well up in the mountains, so this is just an extension of that. But yeah, so let's check out some track footage, and then I will wrap it up on the way home. Well guys, we are back in my garage safely in South Carolina. I did not want to wrap up last night when we were leaving A&P because it got dark really quickly and I was trying to get out of there and get home and get everything settled. But I am so proud of how the car did. It did extremely well. Suspension was great, tires were great. It took a little bit of time kind of fine-tuning the pressures. I started out way too high and they were getting really hot and greasy. But once I backed the pressures down, started at about 29 PSI, they got up to a good 38 PSI on track, 37 about. So it was doing really, really well. The grouping was way too packed. Advanced was really full. It was the first one right after coronavirus started to die down. So of course there was a lot of people that came out to try to get back on track. But I was spending all of my time giving point buys to Corvettes and Camaros and much faster cars. So I really didn't get a lot of time to really focus and get like a good single hot lap down. But the car did great. The only thing I absolutely have to have before I go back out on track again is I really want an oil pressure gauge and I really want my oil temperature gauge. I've got them. I just need to get them installed. It was just very nerve-wracking trying to drive on track and not knowing that vital information of how the car is doing. But other than that, it was solid. I have no complaints about this car. It is actually a riot on track. I would like an LSD. I take that back. I would like a limited slip, but that's not something we're going to do on this car. It's a lot of money. It's a lot of effort. All these things that I'm not worried about for a car that's going to see the track, once or twice a year. It's just an occasional track car. The 350Z over here is the primary track car. So, of course, if you guys have any questions about the car, the setup, or anything specific to the track, of course, feel free to drop that below. You can hit that subscribe button, and I will see you guys next week.